The Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland says it is considering hiring additional staff as the bloodletting continues to impact the country's health sector. Crime is on the rise in some western parishes and health officials say hospitals are overwhelmed. In fact, the Cornwall Regional Hospital says up to June 22, it treated roughly 1 gunshot wound victim per day. TVJ's Vashon Brown has the primetime news follow-up.
Just last week, officials of the Kingston Public Hospital raised concerns about the impact of the bloodletting on the hospital while they addressed the parliamentary committee. Now, doctors out west say they're facing similar challenges. Senior medical officer at the Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland, Dr. Alfred Dawes, says the hospital has been treating more gunshot wound victims now than before. In fact, just last week, the hospital said it treated 7 people who were shot, the majority of whom had to get emergency surgery.
It is placing a considerable strain on the hospital's resources in terms of staff and blood, as well as the disposables and operating theatre time. As a matter of fact, we have actually been looking into hiring additional staff just to deal with the increased requests for blood and blood products at night because of the drain that these trauma cases are putting on the blood bank.
Dr. Dawes says with the severe staff shortage and very limited resources, the hospital is overwhelmed.
As is right now, we are almost in a crisis situation, given the scale-back activities at Cornwall Regional Hospital, the pressure that we're having with the rise in motor vehicle accidents, particularly motorbikes, and then to compound all of this with the increase in shootings, I don't know how much we're able to manage if we don't get a serious injection of resources.
Dr. Dawes points out that staff members are also terrified. It was only recently that a woman was murdered just across from the hospital. The hospital, he says, is looking to put measures in place to ensure the safety of patients and the staff at the facility. Over at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, the clinical coordinator, Dr. Delroy Frey, says from June 1 to June 22, the hospital treated 20 gunshot wound victims. In other words, the hospital treated roughly 1 gunshot wound victim per day.
One single gunshot wound can take up, the doctor's time anywhere between 1 to 2 hours to sort out. And then that patient have to be moved to the operating theatre, where they could spend another 2 to 3 hours trying to save their lives. And then they'll be placed on the ward or in the intensive care unit, where depending on the severity of the injury, they could spend another 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even months, depending on the severity of the injury.
Then there is also the impact on the staff.
The impact of the injuries are such that it's causing burnout of our staff, the surgeons, the anesthetic staff, and nurses. Because when we should be looking after a patient who has general problems, we have to be spending hours looking after these gunshot injuries.
Vashon Brown, TVJ News.